Serie. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Non-Classic. This is episode number 1916 and Doubleshot number 1806. More Star Wars and another Jack Kirby related series. We have Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters. This is actually the third trade collects the Star Wars book, collecting issues 12 to 18. Yeah, 12 to 18. 7 issues. Yeah, it's kind of strange that they did this. For that book was like 5 issues, like freaking 7 issues. Seriously. Written by Charles Shaw, artwork by Roman Lenz. Yes. Now most of the book basically deals with stuff flashback with Han Solo and stuff. Well, one thing interesting though I got to point out about this book is that we have Poe Dameron's parents meet for the first time in these issues. Yes, Kes Dameron and Sal, I think her name is. Yeah, they first meet in these very issues. Yes, they get introduced to each other. And, well, that's a connection we have the current trilogy. Is we have the first time we have Poe Dameron's parents pop up in here. Yeah, there's more training stuff in here. And it takes a while before Frank gets to the War of the Bounty Hunter stuff. Yep. Like I said, it takes a little bit of a while. And then finally, I think it's by issue, I think it's like 15 is when we finally get to the whole War of the Bounty Hunter stuff. But this stuff in here, just pure fun. We have Mon Mothma make appearance, and Admiral Akbar. It's a trap! Yes! Yes, I know that line. It's so freaking funny. Yep. And it's all built, and of course, we have many more stuff related to it. Of course, we also have, you are curious, who's this woman? It's Quintetta. She was Han Solo's love interest from the Han Solo movie. And she's one of the leaders, yes, one of the leaders of the Quintara. Yep. Most of it just kind of like other stuff related to the event itself. But this book is pure fun. Love it. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Next up it is the final trade for Ultimate Comics X-Men. Ultimate Comics X-Men by Brian Wood, Volume 1. Collecting issues Ultimate Comics X-Men 18.1 and 1923. I say it's the final trade to talk about because it actually is. Because I actually talked about the next 2 volumes about 6 years ago. Isn't that weird? But I'm thinking, hey, why take so long to review the rest of the series? Was on my priority list. But now, final trade. This, of course, is done in the aftermath of the Divided We Stand. It's basically the Divided We Fall, United We Stand crossover, where the X-Men have basically been put into a reservation. The whole storyline is called Reservation X, where basically in this very storyline, where the whole town, it's basically the Ultimate Comics version of Utopia. It's based on an island. This is based in the middle of the desert, and it's referred to as Reservation X. Apparently, after the events of, well, like I said, the Divided We Fall, United We Stand crossover, mutants had 2 options. Number 1, get a cure, or 2, go to this reservation. And most of the familiar X-Men who are actually still alive at this point are here. Oh, by the way, the whole thing with Magneto, Quicksilver, I think it was like Magneto, Scarlet Witch, that turned out to be just illusions. That's simply what it is. Quicksilver himself, now there's also technically one series cycle that came out at this period of time, and that's called Ultimate Comics Wolverine, featuring Jimmy Hudson. This is all about the start of this particular story arc, and the story arc itself would basically start here and wouldn't wrap up into the final issue of the series, issue 33. This is basically all the start of it, and that's it. Talk about here, just basically started this whole story arc. It's a good start for Brian Wood's run. I thoroughly enjoy it, but it's also the final trade to discuss for his run and the entire series. Well, my final thoughts on the Brian Wood run and this whole series, Ultimate Comics X-Men. Yep. Because right after this series wrapped up, we had the Cataclysm miniseries. And that was it. You are thinking, really? Yes, really. That was it. Shockingly, that was all was published for the Ultimate Comic Universe, the Ultimate Universe when it comes to the X-Men. This was their very first. This was only their second ever ongoing series, because in between the original ongoing series and this one, we had like one brief miniseries, Ultimate Comics X by Jeff Loeb, which all it did serve is basically just be a backdoor pilot to this book, and it managed to not last as long as Ultimate Comics X-Men, but it last long as Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, Ultimate Comics Ultimates, which got praised for that too. Now here's the strange thing about the relaunch for this book, Ultimate Comics Ultimates and Ultimate Comics X-Men, Spider-Man. Spider-Man maintained its writer for 20 issues. This went through two writers in 33 issues. First, it was Nick Spencer for the first 18 issues. But in the case of the Ultimate Comics Ultimates, that was first done by Jonathan Hickman. And then Nick Spencer did the issues of the crossover I mentioned. And the final issue is done by Sam Humphries. Yep. But here's the strange thing, though. Aside from this book, the only thing else I've discussed that's written by Brian Wood is his run for the X-Men Volume 4 run, which he had the first 17 issues of that run. And then you had, like, Mark Guggenheim did a story afterwards. And I think, like, the final story was done by G. Willow Wilson. Yep. But in the case of the series overall, it is a good series. It is shocking the series didn't last very long. And here's the thing. After the series wrapped up, when's the next time you see the Ultimate Ultimate version of the X-Men? When they popped up in a story arc for the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Actually, no, it wasn't that book. It was, I believe, the next time officially after the Ultimate Universe wrapped up, I think it was actually an all-new X-Men. Actually, no, it was just before that one. So, yeah, I think it was all new X-Men. It was a story arc for all new X-Men where they went to the Ultimate Universe by accident. But after the series wrapped up, well, Jimmy Hudson himself would actually pop up in the regular universe along with Miles and his supporting cast. And then once X and Blue wrapped up, they actually had him, well, go back to his own universe. And he was never seen again. Jimmy Hudson is Wolverine's son, which they reveal in a miniseries his mother was in fact Magneto's wife. Yeah, because Wolverine had a one-night stand with Magneto's hot wife, who also happened to be the mother of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. So yeah, Wolverine's son is the half-brother of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Yep, so it makes him also Magneto's stepson. Yeah. But in the case of what happened to the rest of the characters, well, Kitty Pryde herself would actually join the all-new Ultimates, as mentioned Cataclysm. The X-Men would be mostly disbanded after this. It's not explicitly revealed what happened to them. It's like, would Kitty Pryde join the all-new Ultimates, which basically is kind of like a young Avengers version of the Ultimates. Basically a teenage version of the Ultimates. There really much what was happening to the X-Men themselves, like, they practically just were dropped from the Ultimate Universe as a whole, just prior to the events of Secret Wars. But yeah, not much else to say about these two books. I think if you're curious about the Ultimate X-Men, I would start with the Ultimate X-Men series. Well, in the hardcover editions, they do collect the Ultimate War miniseries, which was a miniseries crossover between the Ultimates and the X-Men. And there's also Ultimate X/F. That was actually a crossover between the X-Men Fantastic Four and the Ultiverse. And you might be curious though, was there a crossover with Ultimate Spider-Man? There was. Mostly was him guest starring in a story arc for Ultimate X-Men. Yeah. But aside from that one ongoing series, there is also Ultimate Comics X and this series. Plus the miniseries that come afterwards. So in the case of the X-Men for their universe as a whole, the only thing else I've talked about is a couple miniseries for them. Excuse me. They mostly focus on Wolverine. Like one is Ultimate Wolverine versus Hulk. The other is Ultimate Comics Wolverine. And that's it for the Ultimate Universe when it comes to the X-Men. Yep. So yeah, that's a sick of you. I'm gonna go ahead and do one more comic corner, and I'll wrap it up tonight. Okay, next video. Bye.